Hi, and welcome to the Spark Change podcast. I'm Denise Miller. I'm the advocacy coordinator for Fire Steel, which is a network of Washington YWCAs committed to ending homelessness through innovative advocacy.
Thanks, Denise. I'm Erin Murphy. I am the Director of Community Engagement for the YWCA Seattle King Snohomish, and we are the hosting YWCA for the Fire Still Advocacy Network. So today we are talking about social media campaigns. Now that can seem kind of like a buzzword or phrase, so what do I mean when I say that? When I think of a social media campaign, really when I boil it down, it is coordinated content being used in digital spaces, so social media, online, that is working really hard to get a specific message across. And that message often includes very specific calls to action. So, in a nutshell, that's what we're talking about. So, we'd love to share some examples with you today.
Yeah, so one example that I want to talk about, which is really cool because it got a lot of people involved,
Mm-hmm.
was led by the Human Rights Campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was in support of marriage equality.
Mm-hmm.
And so they encouraged, this was back in, so it was earlier this year, and it was when the Supreme Court was hearing a couple of cases that had to do with marriage equality, Defense of Marriage Act, and Prop 8 in California. And so they encouraged people to change their Facebook profile
Mm-hmm.
pictures to red equal signs. And 10 million people ended up doing
Wow.
that between Facebook and Twitter.
Wow.
I myself did it. And
Yeah,
so
I did too.
yeah,
Yeah.
so there was kind of like the standard one that was created by Human Rights Campaign that was like just red equal signs,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'd see like some more creative variations on that. So, oh, this one looks like it may have gotten, yeah. So
Oh,
that's the
there it is.
one
I see
that,
it. Yeah.
yeah, that's the one that I put up on my thing, and
So
then
it has a
I saw some,
heart.
yeah, it was very sweet. And I saw some that were really cool, like or just really creative, really unusual. So, like pieces of bacon as the equal
Yeah.
sign and just
Some of
other
them were
things that
just more random. Like, I'm totally gonna tell on my husband. He put one up too, but his was just like a cat face in the background and then an equal sign. I don't know,
yeah,
but people were still talking about it. Everyone loves
fair
cats.
enough.
Go marriage equality.
That's the internet in a nutshell for
Yeah,
you, right?
totally.
So yeah, so that one was cool because I think it encouraged a lot of conversations. I
Mhm.
think when some people saw it on my Facebook profile, I got a couple of comments that were like, what is this?
Oh,
Why are you
I did
doing
too.
this?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was like a really great opportunity to like say, oh, this stuff's
Mhm.
going on, in the Supreme Court, and I could link them to some news articles, and it just like it was implicit and obvious that I was in support of this.
Mhm.
And I think in causes like marriage equality, it's really you have power to be an influencer and to
Mhm.
like, once people get the idea, oh well, she supports that and he supports that, and they see how many people support something, maybe if they hadn't even thought about it before, it could
Mhm.
really change their perspectives.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a brilliant campaign.
Yeah, and it was a really simple one. Like essentially, it was providing images for your Facebook profile, and their specific ask was to put that up as your profile pic, with the result being just a lot of conversations and more awareness raising. So yeah, um, I came across another social media campaign for an organization that I actually interned for quite a few years ago. They are called the International Justice Mission, and they do a lot of really creative advocacy, particularly around human trafficking internationally. And so I'm going to share one example. I actually heard about it because I got an email in my inbox introducing me to it, and I checked it out. Um, so if you're on the Hangout, I'm going to screen share it here, and it's simply being called the Move to End. So they've created a hashtag out of that. It's hashtag move or not the letter, oh my goodness, the number two. Don't try the letter, that won't get you anywhere. The number two and then the word end, hashtag move to end. And so they are trying to grow greater awareness of human trafficking or essentially slavery around the world and working to end it. So their main calls here are to share a lot of the videos that they have created. So they've essentially profiled a couple of different leaders across the world that are working really hard to end slavery, and then asking people to share that out in order to raise awareness. They've created this hashtag around this movement as well, and they're also asking very specifically for people to tweet at or to reach out to their legislators. So they've broken it down here with 4 easy ways to get moving. So they've really made it pretty simple too, and they are providing content as well. So that's one that I'm tracking.
Awesome. Another one that I thought was really clever was it was the Water is Life campaign, and it was the first example I know of what they called hashtag killing. So it's kind of a weird concept, but
I don't think I've heard of that yet. Tell me, Denise.
So
New to me.
you know, people when they post on Twitter and now on Facebook, as well as Instagram, you can use a hashtag to categorize the content, help people find things easier. So last year, there was a popular hashtag which was first world problems. And you've probably seen this in your feed from different people. And so they would be, just things like, I hate it when my leather seats aren't heated, things like that. And so this campaign decided to turn that kind of on its head, and they found some things that people had tweeted, and actually went to Haiti and had some
I did
children.
See that one. Yeah, see, these things really stick with you when you've been exposed to them.
Yeah, so they had some children and adults just deadpan say these first world problems. So you would see a young Haitian person kind of ruins around them, and they would say, my house is so big, I need 2 wireless routers. I hate that, and it's really affecting. And then in another version of the video, the campaign had these people in Haiti actually apologizing or expressing sympathy for these first world problems. So they would say, oh, I'm so sorry that you forget your maid's name when you're writing a check to her, or just and so the whole point of the campaign is okay, there are these first world problems, there are real problems that we can address, and so they encourage people to help raise awareness about not first world problems, but real problems, and to make a change. So they tried to kill that hashtag.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you know, did they have a specific ask as part of that? Was it just to share, or?
There were, so they're kind of like the campaign that you just showed.
The move to end,
Yeah, there's a page where you could make a variety of actions.
I see. Cool. Very cool. So another example, we're going to bring it to home in what we're doing with FireSteel. We mentioned in a previous podcast that we did a domestic violence social media campaign. So every October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And domestic violence is one of the leading causes of family homelessness. So it's really important to the advocacy work that we do, and we really want to raise awareness of that. So we've done that 2 years in a row and plan to keep doing that. And our campaigns include not only images, and I say images because we haven't used that many photos yet, because domestic violence is pretty sensitive and you often need to be very careful of confidentiality. So we found that using kind of cartoon style or drawings is a better approach. So using images in that way. This last year we really created a lot of videos. Huge props to Denise. She made 5 different videos, all about 2 minutes in length, with different perspectives that we shared out. So we really had the the plan was to have one video a week, and I think we had more in the end, so that was pretty awesome. We also coordinated our blog, so the entire month we were talking about all of that as well, and we made sure to share all of the content that we were creating across all of our social media platforms and in all of those spaces. And we were really strategic too to also use email to email out partners and ask people very intentionally to share that. So our number one call to action was to share our content, especially the interactive content that we created, which was our interactive quiz that also included all that content. And so, yeah, sharing that really helped to raise awareness. And then the YWCA on a larger scale has participated in something called Purple Purse, which is supported by the Allstate Insurance Company. And so YWCAs all around the country, certain ones are selected, and we have not only physical purple purses, because purple is the color of domestic violence, but also digital ones in a sense, because if you then physically pass the purses around, you would go online and be able to share like where you were sharing, so they could essentially kind of track and see where the information was going. And then they did a really cool thing where money was associated with that. So if you shared the purple purse, which was tracked online, you could get up to quite a few $1,000s. So our YWCA got up to $10,000. So that was a pretty huge impact. So,
yeah, I actually saw some statistics on that, and so
yeah.
there were 96,000 passes of this purse.
Wow.
So that is just a lot of awareness building, which is amazing.
Yeah,
as well as.
Oh, I was just saying, because the purse essentially would take you to a website that had information on domestic violence. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was all about starting conversations.
Yep,
exactly.
naming it. Yeah.
Exactly. It raised $350,000 that Allstate donated for YWCAs across the country.
Yeah, thanks, Allstate.
And yeah, I just wanted to mention there was oftentimes these campaigns, to the extent possible, will have some sort of celebrity involvement. And so for this campaign, Rosario Dawson was involved, and she recorded a video in which she just talked about the importance of financial independence and how finance can really play into domestic violence and ultimately homelessness. So yeah. Well, we hope that some of those examples have inspired you, and we'd love to know what are some of your favorite social media campaigns.
Yeah, there's a lot out there.
There's all the time. So please let us know by leaving a comment on our website, which is firesteelwa.org.
Yeah, and if you've ever done a social media campaign, we'd especially love to hear about that and just learn from each other. I mean, the technology out there is changing all the time, so there's so many new ways we could approach it. So yeah, well, thank you, Denise, and thank you everyone out there, either on video or listening on podcast, for joining us. We are going to be away over the holidays. And lots of traveling for both of us, but we'll be back and ready to talk advocacy tools in a few weeks.
That's right. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everyone.
We will catch you in 2014.